Hello YouTube, it's Rob, One Strange Journey. Today I want to go over some of the harsh realities that they don't tell you before you go full-timing in your RV. You see a lot of YouTubers do a lot of great things and you get this picture built up in your head what it's going to be like. And some of it's true, but some of it's not. Let's break it down. Let's go over a couple things and I'll explain what I've learned along the way. Some that surprised me. Another misconception is the space you're going to have inside your RV. I got a 40-footer, but that's not what we started looking at. We were watching those videos and I thought 25-30-footer would be just fine. Or we went to the RV dealership, started looking, and I thought maybe a 30-footer would be perfect. But it was like one little couch. There was just no room to expand inside there. So one thing led to another. You let your wife go to these, you'll know what I'm talking about. And we ended up going with a 40-footer eventually because it just... you keep stepping up and seeing bigger and bigger RVs and all that more space, and it looks great. It's hard to settle for a smaller one, but you know, I gotta tell you, after a year of this big guy, I love it. But I'd love to have a truck camper too, especially one of those ones that have the sides that pull out, back pulls out. But I do worry, would space become an issue? I mean, in those you got a bed and a couch if you're lucky. 40-footer, you pretty much got everything a house got. You're pretty well set. You'd be surprised how cramped it is in a 20-footer. So there's a big misconception on how much space you have in a lot of RVs. They're a lot smaller than you think they are. So go down to the dealership, go walk through them. If it's just gonna be you and the wife, take you and the wife. Go stand, go walk through it, pretend you're making dinner. See how you're gonna lounge around, see how you're gonna make your food. If you got kids, bring everybody. See how cramped you're all gonna be in there. Make sure it's nothing more than you were expecting. What's odd is this size RV, my master bedroom was the same square footage. You could have parked this inside my master bedroom. This 40-footer, we've been just fine with. Of course, it's about the biggest you can get. I mean, there's some bigger, but not without a Peterbilt to pull it. We calculated it all ahead of time, thought we knew how much it was gonna cost. Campgrounds, you can save a lot of money when you go month to month. But financially, when you're on the road, when you're stopping to get dinners, when you go into all these different grocery stores, when you have breakdowns, financially, it's going to cost probably more than you got sketched down on paper. So be prepared. You got to have some money on the side. If it's that tight, you got to plan. You know, you got to plan accordingly. You got to make sure you got a job. You got to make sure you have an income. It always costed a lot more than I thought it was going to. So it still costs a lot less than trying to live in a house. Don't get me wrong. But financially, it can be rough. Try to save some money. I put money into my little Webull account, to my little RobAanerud account. It's been the best thing. We just put a certain amount each week into those accounts. If it's $5 a week, if it's $100 a week, whatever you can. I'll put a little link in the description to a referral link to the ones I use, and you get some free stocks out of it. You don't have to, but it's an option because it's really helped us out. We have a retirement account now, and we've been, you know, some weeks it's tough to put the money in, but we've been consistently putting money in. You want to plan ahead. You don't want to just maintain. If you have to, if you had no other options, we've had years of maintaining, don't get me wrong, but if you can, put some money away. Don't just blow it all going to national parks. Don't just blow it all going to circuses or fairs or out to dinner or whatever have you. You know, try to put some money away if you can for when stuff comes up. So financially, I would say that's the last surprise. Whatever you're jotting down on paper, it's probably going to cost more. So try to have a buffer there. Don't blow your whole nest egg on your rig and think you don't need some money on the side. You best if you have some money on the side for stuff that comes up. Another misconception is if you buy a newer RV, you're going to have less issues with maintenance and repairs. It's just not true. Especially if you look up these COVID years RVs, because there were so few workers available, they rushed through those RVs. They didn't do a good job on them. They're falling apart left and right now. So don't think if you're just going to run out and get an RV that the newer is going to be better. It's just not the case. And you got to think about when you're a full-time RVer, what's going to happen when you go in on warranty work? How long are they going to take to actually do the repair? Where are you going to live when that happens? You know, that's one of the things that I looked at the newer ones. I'm like, but they have a warranty. But yeah, they'll tell you to come bring it there and park it for 6 months. What are you going to do in that meantime? In my opinion, you're better off buying something 5 years old, maybe a little older, as old as you got to go, and not worrying about the warranties, because that warranty work, ask around. It's so hard to get that work done, and what you have to go through to get it done, how long it takes. If you just go out weekend warrioring it, then it's fine. You can go park that thing down at Camper World for 6 months and wait for your repair work to get done. If you're living full-time in it, you don't have that luxury. So don't think if you run out and buy a brand new one, it ain't gonna break down. It will. I definitely recommend getting something a little bit used in good condition. Save that money, put it aside. That way when maintenance and repairs come up, you'll have some money to do it. And I love modifying things. You've probably seen me do 10,000 things to this. If you had a brand new RV, I would feel sad ripping out a cabinet. I would feel bad like tearing stuff out, you know? On an older one, it's already half worn out. You don't feel as bad. Anyways, definitely don't think because you get a new RV, it ain't gonna break. Sometimes you get extreme isolation. You know, we've been to some areas that you're just alone. When I was in Idaho, I dealt with a lot of isolation and it started to get to me a little bit. I like being alone, but it did start to get to me after a while. You know, you don't know anybody. Sometimes you just not feel like going out and being social. And I'll tell you, there's RV parks with some people and they don't want to be social. They don't want you coming up to their door. They don't want you coming onto their campsite. They don't want to talk to you. You think they want to talk to you. They don't want nothing to do with you. You know, they're traveling to get away from people a lot of times. Sometimes you do have to deal with extreme isolation. And there's ways to deal with that, and that's just all a personality trait. I deal with it, I think, okay. I generally don't like a lot of people anyways. I'm not that kind of guy. Definitely something you got to dig down deep in your soul and your heart and see if it's going to affect you. Is it going to be a concern for you, your wife, kids, whatever? You know, there's ways around it. You can go to more family-friendly RV parks. You can go to bigger towns, all that kind of stuff, but it is something to consider, the isolation that you may have at times. Another thing that you don't think about until you get on the road is the lack of stability. For me, it's been fine. For Jen, it's been fine. It's mostly been hard on our daughter, I think, here and there. She makes friends. You know, she has to leave them after a while. Everywhere she goes, she makes a bunch of new friends. So, you know, the lack of stability can affect certain people in your family. So you got to kind of think about that. That's why we were going to stay at places only 3 months at a time, but we've decided to stay at one place much longer than that. We're like a school year at a time. So it's impacted the travel that we planned on doing, but I want my daughter happy. So we're trying to find that balance where she can be happy and we still get to go new places. During the summertime, we'll try to do a lot more exploring. Only think about, especially with kids, how that lack of stability is going to affect them. You know, and if you got teenagers, just remember, they don't know what the heck they want. You don't have to listen to everything they say. Sometimes you know what's better for them. They might say, oh, I don't want to leave my friends. But if their friends are dipsticks anyways, you know, they're going to have more fun than you think. You got to get them out of that bedroom, off that TikTok. Bring them outside, you know. It can be a great way of life. Just, you got to understand your kids. Do you think it's going to destroy them? Or do you think it will be a good thing for them? You know what's best for them. You don't necessarily have to ask them. You know, they can be wingnut. You do what's best for them, what's best for you, what's best for the family as a whole. But definitely think about the lack of stability and how that's going to affect everybody. First thing I'd say that surprised me right off the bat is I thought we were going to be able to go to these great locations, boondocking way out in the middle of nowhere, nice, serene, desolate areas, and just sit there for weeks at a time, absorbing the serenity. Well, the reality is a lot of those people that are doing it, they either have these great solar panel systems up on their roof. For like a rig like ours would start at 10,000. That would be like the basic entry point. And to get a good one that you could run AC, probably be 20, 25,000 to do it right. It's crazy. There's ways to make it cheaper. And I'm going to try to do a build this year using some used solar panels, I think, and some bottom basement lithium batteries. We'll see how cheap we can make it happen for. The reality of it is you can't just take a stock RV and go sit out in the middle of nowhere unless you want to sit in darkness. Unless you want to freeze your butt off or sweat your butt off in the summer. There's a way to do it. There's a way not to do it. It's not that easy. I mean, I used to send pictures to my sister, to my mother, and all of them of these RVs in the most beautiful landscapes, mountains in the background, deserts and beautiful sunsets, people sitting out there sipping on their wine, barbecue going, eating a tri-tip. I haven't gotten to do it yet. First place I took this RV when we first got it, took it up on top of a mountain in California to this campground, Sunflower Resort or something. I don't advise going there. It's pretty, but the camp host sent me to the very top of the mountain. It was the biggest drama. I ended up sliding off the road. My first night. Anyways, I would say the number one misconception I had was how easy it was to go boondocking. And once I got in the RV, seeing how all the systems worked in the RV, I realized It's not that easy. And this next one that I had no clue about, internet access. These RV parks, they all say they have free Wi-Fi. And some of them, my goodness, dial-up in 1996 would be more efficient. So do not depend on RV parks for your Wi-Fi. You're gonna need to figure out an alternative method if internet's important to you. If it's not important to you, then yeah, you might look out at some parks, as long as you don't need it for all. I mean, we like to stream a lot of our TV and watch a lot of YouTube. I do have an extensive DVD collection now, because the last place in Idaho we were at, we had like zero internet. It was terrible. Didn't know how bad I needed internet. We didn't even get cell phone signal. And that's another thing, you know, cell phone signal can be spotty. But anyways, internet is huge. Explore all the different internet carriers. We've tried Starlink, it worked pretty good. We're currently using a Verizon hotspot, and where we're at works great. I've seen a lot of bad reviews on it too though. I don't know what to say, 50 bucks a month right now, unlimited internet. It's working awesome for us. It's zero issues. We stream, I upload, I download, everything's working great. So be aware, you may need to figure out a solution to your internet service. Another thing that I didn't know was going to be as big a concern, I had an idea, but it's weather. Weather can really affect your travel plans. What days you leave, where you're going to go. If it's summertime, you don't want to head south. You don't want to go heading down to Arizona. RVs kind of suck at keeping cool in those hot temperatures. And if it's freezing cold, unless you're prepared and watched all my videos and made all the proper mods, you might not want to head north. Weather can really impact where you're going to go and on what days you're going to travel. You know, just rain in general, it can be so loud inside an RV when it's hitting your roof. So that's another thing to really consider is weather, and keep an eye on it. Once you're stationed, there's not much you could do about it. But, you know, if you're in Florida, you might want to watch for those weather reports of a hurricane's coming and get your butt up out of there. If you're in Kansas, maybe you want to watch for a tornado. I don't know, I don't got a lot of experience in that Kansas type stuff. But the good thing about it is we can move. If there's a big fire coming to town, if there's a flood, you can get up and move. Just something to consider, weather. Weather can really impact what you're going to do and when you're going to do it. Another misconception is how much room you're going to have in your RV. I'll tell you, I'll show a video picture here. When we moved into RV, we thought we were going to have so much more room. Got truck registered today in my name, so that's cool. There's the back seat, my gaming computers, all sorts of shit I shouldn't have. I guarantee you, however much room you think you have, you probably got 25% of that at most. I mean, we've cut way back, and oh geez, this is what I've got. It's filled to the max. I got to organize it. If I organize it, we'll probably have more room. But anyways, we've already been through some scaling back. It just don't all fit in there. You got a lot less room than you think. You know, you think you're gonna bring this big pan set. You're gonna bring your freaking big pans, little pans, frying pans, all these pans. You're not. You ain't gonna have all room for that. Go look at the cooking pans. It all fit inside one another. That's the kind of pans you want. But anyways, you're not gonna have as much room as you think you are. The storage on these things, this is a huge storage compared to some RVs. We got big closet compared to some RVs, and we still didn't have nearly the room we thought we were gonna have. You don't have a lot of room in these to store stuff. Along the way, if you buy something, you got to get rid of something. It's a give and take the whole time you live in an RV. So if you're going to go full time, just understand storage is a lot less than you think. You need to get rid of most of your stuff before you get in that RV, or put it in storage, whatever your plan is. So storage is a big misconception, how much room you're going to have. Another misconception I ran into is the size of truck you should have to pull an RV. You think you can just go down and get a half-ton pickup to pull your RV, and I'll tell you, if you're under 25 feet, you'll probably get by just fine. But bigger is definitely better, and diesel is king when it comes to pulling an RV. I got this one, it's a 2500. I thought it would be just fine to pull a 40-footer. It's got the Duramax in it and all that, same engine that's in the 1-ton. When I first put this RV on it, she squatted hard. I ended up putting airbags on it. I've got this thing, basically, this has got more towing capability than a 1-ton at this point, with the 7,500 pound airbags on the front and all the mods I've done. But legally, within the law's eye, it's still a 3/4 ton. Anyways, when you're planning out what size truck you're gonna need, you're probably gonna wanna go bigger. I hate 1-tons because of You go in these Facebook groups, everybody's like, get a 1-ton, get a 1-ton. You got a 20-foot RV, get a 1-ton. You got a 30-foot RV, get a 1-ton. I mean, it's just ridiculous. Heck, I've seen people recommending F450s, F550s for 40-foot RVs. It's ridiculous. If you can go bigger, great. But that's a big misconception a lot of new people into the RV market make, is what they're going to need in order to pull their RV. So do some research on that, or ask me in the comments. I'll give you my opinion. All right. I hope these tips helped you. I don't want to take anything away from the experience. Living RV life full-time has been one of the best things that has happened to us. I think it saved my family. My boys were in bad situations. It got them up out of there, started them a new life. My daughter got a new lease on life. Me and Jen, we've gotten a new lease on life. It got us out of just living in a house, going to work and back each day. We've seen so many incredible things. But there is some harsh realities to RV life that you have to plan ahead for too. Don't just look at the good things. Don't go in with blinders on. Look at everything. Get yourself a plan before you go. Like I said, it can be the best thing that ever happened to some people, and it could be a nightmare to others. There's a lot of people selling their RVs, getting rid of them because it wasn't nearly what they thought it was going to be. I'm not one of them. Right now, we have no intentions on stop. We love it. No regrets at all. We sold the house. Miss my house, love my house, but I'll tell you what, I see what people are paying right now for fire insurance back there. Don't miss that. RV life, I still am a firm supporter of it. It's great. I love it. Wouldn't trade it for anything. Plan ahead. Do all your research. Go on YouTube. You know, don't shy away from nothing. All right, I appreciate you watching. If any of this was helpful, if you could just hit that little like button, that would be awesome. I would severely appreciate it. And maybe even subscribe. And I'll try not to bring cringy videos every week. I do my best. It's unavoidable with me. You know? I don't even know why you're watching this. I wouldn't even watch my own videos. I mean, I do watch my own videos. I'm probably my biggest fan. Anyways, all right, I'm going to go. I'm making it cringy all over again. Later. You a good girl? Huh? Was there any misconceptions for you, Gertie? Did anything surprise you about moving in the RV? Huh? Was it bigger or smaller than you thought it was? What have you thought about these campgrounds, man? Huh? You can't just poop all over the place no more, right? Yeah. But these dogs, they met more new friends than we've met. Everywhere we go, they meet new friends, right? At this one, we got Bernie, the big St. Bernard. And the little guy and Gertie, but they both fight over who gets to go outside and play with them.